What's up everybody, this is Master Ian Gamer, and it's that time of year again to start getting hyped for the upcoming Overwatch Halloween Terror event. We actually already have a good bit of info regarding this event, courtesy of some classic Blizzard leaks, so in today's video I'm going to cover everything we know so far about Halloween Terror 2018. From start date to known skins to maybe even some undiscovered clues. If you end up enjoying this video, then feel free to leave a like, sub, and hit the bell to not miss any of my future Overwatch content. But otherwise, let's start with the start date. So thanks to the Kellogg's leak, we fortunately have the exact dates of this year's event, or at least approximately the exact dates. I won't go super in depth with the leak itself here, as I already made a video covering it, which you can check out through the card on screen. But according to the leak, Halloween Terror 2018 is supposed to start on Wednesday, October 10th, and runs until Wednesday, October 31st. Now, the start date may seem a bit odd, since it'll make it the first Overwatch event ever to not start on either a Tuesday or a Thursday. There's a lot of reasons why this leak could in fact be off by a day from when we'll actually see the event start. However, when it really comes down to it, I'm not sure that it entirely matters. Based off of this leak, in addition to simply how Blizzard has handled events in the past, I guarantee you that it'll be starting sometime within this 3-day period. And since Blizzard always releases an official teaser about a week in advance, the real dates we should be looking at are October 1st through 5th, as this is when we'll almost definitely start to see official teasers from Blizzard for the event. Anyways, now that we've looked at the start date, let's get into the juicier stuff and talk about the skins. Once again, thanks to a leak, we know the names and rarity levels of 4 of the upcoming Halloween Terror skins. But real quick before I get into those, let's look at the hero event skins chart. While it by no means guarantees who's going to be getting something new, it's always a good place to start. So looking purely at Overwatch events, there is a 5-way tie for who has gone the longest without getting a skin. These 5 are Zarya, Genji, Pharah, Widowmaker, and Mercy, each of which got their last event skin during the 2018 Lunar New Year. However, looking at the heroes who've gone the longest without getting an event legendary skin, we have Tracer, who hasn't gotten a legendary since Anniversary 2017. After Tracer, the next closest is Soldier 76, who hasn't gotten a legendary since Winter Wonderland 2017. Outside of these 7, every hero except Wrecking Ball has gotten at least one event legendary within the past 3 events. And considering these 7 who haven't gotten a recent skin, Genji, Tracer, and Widowmaker are the only 3 which have never gotten a Halloween skin in the past. Now, while these 3 may statistically be the most likely to get a new skin this time, again, nothing's guaranteed. It's entirely subjective to whatever ideas Blizzard has for these characters, so now let's take a look at the leaks we've gotten and see if anything fits. To start, let's look at Spider Queen. Now, the hero that most people seem to first think of when seeing this skin name is Widowmaker, as her icon is a spider and she even has a spider reference in her name. And while I could easily see her getting a spider-themed skin, I'm not really sure that she'd fit the bill as a Spider Queen. When you hear the term Spider Queen, you're likely going to think of a huge creature, possibly even being half humanoid. She's the head of the nest and mother of all the other horrors you'll find in her lair. Going by this image of a Spider Queen, Widowmaker doesn't really seem like the perfect fit, especially when it comes to her physical shape. However, there is one hero in particular that fits this image almost perfectly, and that's Arisa. Arisa is already a large, half-woman, half-beast who even has 6 out of the 8 limbs you'd expect from a spider. She has a strong bug motif, as emphasized by her beetle skins, and her supercharger could easily be redesigned into an egg sac. Like a spider, she carries it around on her back, and when deployed, several web-like strands come out of it. Mark my words, even if this Spider Queen skin somehow isn't for Arisa, one day she will get a spider skin like this. It just fits her too well. The fact that Spider Queen is listed as only an epic makes me skeptical about what it'll actually look like, but again, Arisa is already so beast-like in appearance that they probably wouldn't even have to change her a whole lot to become a horrific spider. Now, in addition to this evidence, I've also got my own little theory that Blizzard has actually been teasing this Arisa skin since last Halloween. If we look at the comic which chronicled the return of Dr. Junkenstein, in one of the panels we can see Genji and Zenyatta Arisa fighting a giant spider. At first glance, it appears to just be your typical giant evil spider, but upon further inspection, particularly around its legs, eyes, and mouth, it appears to in fact be some kind of robot. Those leg joints do not look organic, and actually bear a decent semblance to Arisa's own leg joints. Now admittedly, this is quite a stretch, and overall this spider is completely different from her, and certainly wouldn't be what the skin actually ends up looking like. But given that Blizzard teased some of the 2017 skins in the 2016 Halloween comic, you never know. It could be a clue, or maybe not. Anyways, for those of you who are hoping for a new Widowmaker skin, never fear, because the next leaked skin is a legendary called Bride. So take a wild guess who that might be. Not only is Widowmaker already canonically a bride, with Gerard being her former husband, but it fits perfectly with her overall femme fatale archetype. On top of that, given her blue skin, brainwashed personality, and the horror theme of Halloween Terror, I could easily see Blizzard making the skin a reference to Tim Burton's Corpse Bride, with Widow taking on a very zombie-like appearance. I gotta say, this would fit her much better than an oversized Spider Queen. However, while still talking about the Bride skin, there is one other hero who I could easily see fitting into this category, and that's Moira. Now, this connection might not be immediately evident, but given that Overwatch already has the whole Frankenstein-inspired Junkenstein plot, and Moira happens to be an ethically questionable scientist, she seems like a perfect fit to play the role of the monster's bride from Bride of Frankenstein. Her overall drab yet maniacal appearance would easily fit the aesthetic of a crazy resurrected monster lady. Additionally, she would fit perfectly as a new boss in the Junkenstein's Revenge PvE mode, which hopefully will be getting at least some kind of expansion this year. To be honest, I think both of these bride skins would be really cool, and I'm not even sure which would be more likely. While it's true that Widow has gone longer without getting a new skin than Moira, overall, Moira has far fewer total skins, so really I could see it going either way. Definitely be sure to let me know your thoughts on this one down in the comments. But moving on to the third leaked skin now, we have the legendary Ghost. This sounds pretty generic, but a couple heroes stand out as being possible candidates. The first and most obvious would be Sombra, given that her name translates to shadow, which is thematically similar to a ghost. Also, you know, she can turn invisible and all that. Additionally though, it could be a skin for Tracer, given that she's canonically unstuck in time, and thus to some extent could be considered a time ghost. Then again though, heroes like Reaper and Moira have ghost-like abilities with Wraith form and Fade, so it's also possible that the skin would be for one of them. Overall, I think Sombra is still the most likely candidate, but there are certainly a lot of possibilities for this one. Now, coming to the last of the four skins, we have Slasher, and this one is perhaps the most interesting. Most people seem to think it's going to be a skin for Genji, since he has a sword and, well, swords slash. Additionally, we even saw in last year's comic that he has a Halloween skin which isn't in the game yet, so it seems likely that he could be getting a skin this year, even without the leaks. However, I'm not convinced that this skin seen here is the Slasher skin. In the comic, he is referred to as the Swordsman, and travels from presumably the Far East to help fight Junkenstein. While described as being the monk's apprentice, it still seems likely that the character in the comic is an honorable warrior, which means that calling him Slasher would, frankly, be kind of insulting. That's like calling a Medal of Honor awarded veteran a shooter. It's just disrespectful. I do certainly think that we could see this Genji skin as part of the event, and it could just be one of the skins which didn't get leaked, since I certainly hope there will be more than just 3 legendaries and an epic this year. But as for the Slasher skin, this is almost definitely a reference to the slasher horror film subgenre, such as Friday the 13th and A Nightmare on Elm Street. Judging by Zarya's totally 80s skin from last year, it's safe to say that someone on Overwatch's design team is a fan of the 80s, and this decade was when slasher films first started to become popular. So assuming this is the case, the Slasher skin likely is referring to a slasher killer, being a psychopath who uses some kind of bladed weapon. The best candidate I can think of for this would be Roadhog, given his inherently monstrous appearance and the fact that he does in fact use a hook as a weapon. He could even wear a hockey mask to keep with the style of classic slasher flicks. Alternatively, we could instead see the skin being for Reinhardt, and his hammer will be replaced with some kind of massive axe. In fact, if you remember from my Summer Games skin prediction video, I suggested that Reinhardt could get some kind of lumberjack skin, since he's a buff melee weapon wielding German. So it's possible that Blizzard will instead instead go with some kind of horror psycho lumberjack and stick it in Halloween Terror instead of a future summer games. Beyond these two though, nobody else really sticks out to me as being a slasher, since not many heroes predominantly use sharp melee weapons. Maybe Doomfist would work if they stuck blades on his gauntlet, but he already kinda has that with his Talon skin. Genji could possibly work, but he doesn't seem buff enough to fit the image of a slasher style killer. And besides, I do think it's more likely that he's going to be getting the swordsman skin. So closing out the leaks, my final thoughts on what we'll get for all the leaked skins is Spider Queen Arisa, Bride Widowmaker or Moira, Ghost Sombra, and Slasher Roadhog or Reinhardt. Beyond these, I suspect we'll get a total of about 6 legendary skins and 3 epics, meaning that at best, we've only had about half of them leaked so far. If you're interested in hearing what the other new skins could be, then stay tuned for my upcoming Halloween skins prediction video, which I'll be uploading pretty soon. But in the meantime, let me know what you think these leaked skins will be, or even what non-leaked skins you're hoping we'll be getting this year. Don't forget to vote in today's poll card, and as always, thanks for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and share it with a friend if you really liked it. Subscribe and hit the bell to keep up with all my future Overwatch content, and follow me on Twitter for fun polls and channel updates. This is Master Ian Gamer signing off, and until next time, have a great spooky day.